Welcome, this is GF Gaming here, and I am doing a review of Raya and the Last Dragon. I saw it yesterday evening, 4:05, uncomfortable seats. Fortunately, I'm currently, for the most part, temporarily not an A-lister. But when I get back, we'll be back in business, okay? But my thoughts on this movie. I'm sitting here trying to scramble my bed how I'm going to do this one. I'm gonna talk about. Let's get the animation out of the way real quick. Superb. It is pretty good, but probably best. It's it's pretty good. It's up there with the top animation. Superb. They're very good at what they do. I like the animation. It draws you into the story, despite the story being extremely predictable. But I ain't got much to say about the animation. The animation is perfect. What's that perfect? I would give it the animation an A. Now look at the story. The story was pretty much predictable. Pretty much predictable. I, when I first see a movie, I just go in there to watch the movie to enjoy the movie. With no criticism, not really thinking in too much on the movie. I might do one of those, watch it the first time just to enjoy them, and then watch it the second time to just see any deficiency in the movie. I'm not paying to go see it. It's a good kids movie. It reminds me of How to Train Your Dragon. If you had a kid with Kung Fu Panda, okay, that's and Frozen at the same time. Like they had a three-way. they they jumbled up How to Train Your Dragon in Kung Fu Panda in what's the third one I said? In Frozen and get jumbled it all together and spit it out, and you got Raya the Last Dragon. And it's like, if you really think on it, some of the plot points don't actually make much sense. So I'm not gonna make it too spoily. I might as well. I just can't help but talk about the entire movie. So if you haven't seen it, I suggest you click off now because spoilers are coming. I'm not just spoiling because I'm not, I'm not that spoiling. I'm not gonna tell you the ending. But what I will tell you that they pulled. I think this is maybe a minor spoiler, a major spoiler to me. They pulled a Mufasa. You know, not necessarily the same way, but technically, they pulled one of their classic death scenes. And I'm like, what tell you guys, but just assume that it's somebody, a main character in the story. She gets no, there's no guys in this film. Okay, there's like one, two, very little males in this film. Once there's none, I mean, it's diverse. But as far as the main character, there's only like two male characters, three male characters who are main focus. Everybody else is like side characters. The characters they do bring into the story don't really have really much to do. It's just Rayla doing everything herself because she doesn't trust nobody because that's what the movie's supposedly about. But the thing is, I come out of it is it's technically two things really. It's about trust and forgiveness. You can't trust somebody if you don't forgive them, and you can't forgive nobody unless trust has forgiveness have go hand in hand. You can't separate the two. So this is technically a story about forgiveness and trust. They're trying to force trust by itself, but you can't. You can't trust anybody. You can't forgive them yet. It's like she was trying to, and then she last second gave into her distress. They had consequences, but I can't say that much. I could say that I say that her mindset wasn't getting a little bit annoying as time went by. It did get a little bit annoying. I mean, we know she has trust issues, but it's not like it's not exaggerated enough to point that out. It shows up as her being really protective and wanting people to stay out of her way, and not in the exaggerated way, like straight away. They're gonna tie you up and throw you in the cellar or something type of exaggeration, which would have made more sense. And then she learned to loosen up and trust them, and then stop treating them like prisoners of war. No, they didn't do all that. That would have made more sense to solidify that trust, but they kind of went not there. They try to go for an emotional pull, but it's semi. It doesn't work. It's called emotional manipulation. It, it's not that it's genuinely sad. It's they force scenes that make you want to be sad and not actually being sad genuinely. There are happenings in this that makes no sense. The dragon uses the gem to push out all of the drow or droll or whatever monsters they call that turning people to stone, and it only turned back the humans, but not the dragons. Made no sense. Made no sense. And why is it only located in the heart, the land of heart? So you're telling me where that they the story could have been better. It could have been better. Have all the other nations be suffering and Heart be the only one prospering. That would make more sense for them to be at war with Heart or be angry. But none of them are actually suffering that badly. So it makes no sense for them to be fighting over a gem when none of them are actually really suffering. They haven't really shown Heart's prosperity. They just say that they were prospering. But so is all the other villages prospering. I mean, get real. I ain't Spine is not suffering. Claw is not suffering. Talon is not suffering. Uh, Tooth is not suffering. And Heart's not suffering. They're none of these villages are suffering that badly. They are operating normally. He said on the outside looks good, but on the inside has a lot of holes. But that's usually about life. That's because of the people, not because they're actually the land. It's not like they are deficient in anything. They haven't shown any deficiency in any of these lands for to justify their jealousy. For whatever reason, they think the gem gives prosperity to the land for which it held, which makes no sense because it shows no evidence of such things being true. Again, the heart does not look like it's as prosperous, any more prosperous than Tooth, Claw, or any other lands out there. It's just made it look like, and Heart was the only one trying to bring everybody back together. Everybody else is just on their own, doing their own thing. The dragons sacrifice themselves to save these clowns, just for them to fight one another anyway. Makes no sense. It makes them look stupid. Like ins- instead of honoring their sacrifice by still continue to work together, they decide to fight one another of one gem because they think the stone brings prosperity. No, the stone only wards off the people that would turn you into stone. That was the whole purpose of being made. Yeah, I see the plot point. It can be annoying. Makes everybody look like unlikable douchebags. But it makes everybody look like unlikable douchebags instead of being people feeling sorry for them. And out of nowhere, they all of a sudden. Oh, it also reminds me of freaking Dora the live action movie. It mixed with Indiana Jones. The girl. Let me get this and let's not talk. Let's talk about Raya herself. The whole reason her trust issues happen is because she made the dumb mistake of letting this girl she met one time the same day get inside their most treasured place because she wanted to try trusting people. But that's not how trust works. You don't walk up to somebody you met the same day and automatically let them in your house around your kids. No, you it takes time to develop said trust. That was just foolish behavior, blind trust, foolishly done. There's a difference. Get she all she did was give him her an item that she treasured. Well, she never really said it was important to her. She just said, "Oh, I like Sisu," so we know she likes. She has some affinity to the dragons. So the cure isn't to fight her. It's just if you bought her a dragon, she'll automatically be back on your side because she cares more about the dragons than she does about what her mom wants. Because she wants what's best for the people too, just not in the way her mom wants. She never really told them that her mom was the one who planned on betraying them. She really doesn't set a plan for anything, and that's another thing that's weird. They start a plot point, but then they don't even activate it at all. It's near the end. The mother says they don't she give her no choice but to surrender the dragon. But what did she mean? Because we never find out what she meant by that because she never does anything. I was expecting when they snuck in, all of a sudden they get to the thing, and all of a sudden guards around them and say, "I knew," and guards around them because I knew it was too easy. I was expecting that, but that's not what happened. I was expecting when they got to the Claw village and they sent her that present, that she gonna go down and warn them, and then go down there and try to collect the stone themselves just to get captured by the mom. That's what I was expecting, but that's not what happened at all. She somehow got the stone from her mom. I don't know how the heck she did that, but and tried to stab her, and then gave them the stone, and then tried to turn on them again for the second time. What did you expect to happen? After they done explain, she does explain that she has trust issues. Then the same thing happens. What do you expect? What's going to happen? And Maya's refuses to look into the mirror of her own self and realize her own flaws. It's your fault. Ch died. Because you didn't trust her. Is it really because you didn't trust her? You did do strike number two. Even if the thing is, they made it look like she was going to pull the trigger, and any rational person would have probably reacted that way if they thought that she was going to shoot the dragon. She thought she could react fast enough before she fired, but she actually instead ended up making her fire. But anyway, his choreographed fight scenes were good, decent. They were good. I'm glad they didn't use men this time. Like it would make. I'm so tired of people making these movies that involve female leads and then using guys as the bad guys, like men, like bulky old men that's 10 times their size, and just so they can empower the weak female protagonist. Like that's lame. They actually used another female, which made more sense. You can be a strong female without having to battle guys twice your size and 10 times your weight. You don't have to beat up on dudes to empower yourself. But this movie is a good example of that. He wasn't to lose focus on what it really means for women, empowerment. That they end up advocating for things they would actually be arguing against. Whether it's the Lola Bunny incident, where they really said, "Oh, you have, she's too feminine. There's too feminine. She's too feminine." It's like she barely has any curves to begin with. What are you talking about? Yeah, she's dressed seductively, but she's not acting. Not her character has nothing to do with how she's characterized. If you actually watch the movie, yeah, she looks that way. She looks hot, but she doesn't use that to her advantage. She just wants to play basketball. But anyway, I like Looney Tunes version of Lola Bunny too. It really doesn't really matter to me that much as long as the story is good. Whether they change the characteristics of a bunny or not makes no difference to me. But anyway, what do I give Lola? I mean, nothing. What do I give Rayla and the Last Dragon? I think Doug over exaggerated my. I usually watch Nostalgia Critic. Doug Walker. He's my big fan. Well, not as big anymore, but he was what inspired me to become a movie reviewer. I think he a bit exaggerated on how good this movie actually is. It's not really that good, but it ain't that bad either. It's not middle. It's above average. It's good. It's high above average. Like it's pretty good. Story could have been better. World building could have been better. The character's motivation could have been better. They could have worked more on the distrust a little bit better. But it is what it is. I can see this as a series. Yeah, I could have till the end, but that really did. It could have, but not here to there. Now, until next time, this is DF Gaming signing out.